Where is it? Where is it? Is this the first one? Is it? Okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was the first one or not. So, okay, it is. Thank you, Watanashi. So, this is the first Kentucky Ballistics React I ever did on stream. Okay? This is the first Kentucky Ballistics React. So we are gonna react and check out and react to my very first Kentucky Ballistics React. Yes, that was someone that's in my chat. Unfortunately, because my stream times changed from because I originally streamed when I was streaming at this time, I would actually start something like 3 hours later than I stream now. And unfortunately, Wagyu, because I think because of their own personal schedule, they haven't been able to make it to my streams because I've started earlier. And so they're not able to actually come to it. But Wagyu was one of the first people that routinely was in my stream. Wagyu was like the one person outside of the Fuel Rats that was in my streams when I first started. But this is my very first Kentucky Ballistics React.
I think let's do something a little bit.
Good night, Coyote.
I'm gonna let's do a little bit of a video reaction. So let's do a little change over here. Okay.
God, why do they have the music up so loud? God,
there was a video that I saw.
I had the music up so loud
that
on that.
I saved just for today, specifically for
this. This was a different microphone. This was when I was using my Hypercast Solo X microphone. So this was like the first microphone I bought. This was before thank you to you guys, I got my dynamic microphone, my Elgato microphone. So I was working off of my HyperX Solo Cast microphone. And yes, this was the voice that I originally was streaming with. Obviously, I have changed since then. Thank you, Plates. Thank you. Actually, let me do this so I'm not covering myself. I'm going to do this for now, so I'm not covering myself when something might happen. Yeah, so I was using my original, inexpensive, Hypercast Solo X, regular microphone. And I was using my original voice because effectively speaking, I was still finding my voice. Thank you, Durahan, for Banana Cat. We always love Banana Cat.
For today. And
thank you, Pelg.
Hang on a second. So I don't know how many of you in chat are like me, but I, at least from an older school perspective, love comics.
Oh God, the music! Why do I keep doing
comics. That? And one of my
I was so bad with the
favorite superheroes is Wolverine. He was my first superhero that I was introduced to,
off the
and
music.
has continued to this day to remain my favorite. I cannot wait for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Oh my God, I was so dumb with the music. Why did I do that? Nobody could possibly hear me. Okay, this was before I knew how to read audio levels. Okay, I'm sure of it. I was not able to properly read audio levels in OBS. I had no idea what to look for. I didn't know how to gauge it. Okay, and of course I had the fucking music so fucking loud. Yes, I mean, yes, this might have been God. I mean, I put out this video 11 months ago, so it's yeah, this was probably within my first couple of streams, I think. Oh, Lone Wolf.
come out because I also love Deadpool. So I saw this video. So this is a guy by the name of Scott. He has this channel.
A guy by the name of Scott. Oh my God. Chat, this is a guy by the name of Scott. Maybe you might have heard of him before. Maybe. I don't know. You might not have, but maybe you've heard of this guy. He's a gun tuber. His name is Scott. I don't know if you've heard of him before. Oh my God. I was such a baby streamer on this. Oh my God. This was so this video, chronologically speaking, for Scott occurred after the 50 BM. The majority of videos that I watched are post 50 BNG accident. The majority of my reacts are post 50 BNG. I think there may have been one or two that I watched that were pre 50 accident, but most of them were post accident. And this is one of them. You can tell by his musculature, he's much bigger in his post 50 accident videos. He's much more like he has a much more defined, like larger and muscled torso and arms in his post 50 videos.
Sticks, where he kind of does all kinds of
welcome.
funny and wacky little things involving guts.
God, Ember, turn the music down.
Basically,
for the love of God.
He will do everything from trying out really crazy guns to like testing how will
yes, Tiogo,
sorry, I
yes.
don't know if you guys are hearing the background. It's like I had said yesterday.
Oh my God, there you go.
Apparently, my neighbors think they live in the Fast and the Furious movies, and so they drive around with these huge mufflers that are just loud as hell.
Oh fuck,
So
they still do.
Hopefully, guys didn't hear that.
The voice was a softcore boy. I had the music cranked.
Like, firearms-related, interesting videos. Like, he'll bring out like 4-bore rifles.
So it was a combination of both. I had the music way too loud, but this voice that I used was a soft voice. The voice I had chosen when I first started was a very soft voice. And that's kind of why I changed off of it, because given how emotional emotional I can get on stream, be it angry, sad, whatever. Doing my editing, I realized that this voice didn't really emote very well. That's one of the things that was always a challenge for me when I've been testing out new voices, is how well does the voice emote? And this voice didn't do a good job outside of, like, if I was going to be like, very sensual and try and seduce you, chat. Like, I could seduce you with this voice. Absolutely. I did it early in this thing. But
trust in this fact. God gives the loudest exhaust to the slowest. Hondas.
This is true. This is true. Yes. And so yeah, it didn't this voice did not have a good emotive range. J10, I want to say Corey. I want to say Corey uh joined. Well, not just joined the team, started the team. Corey found me. I want to say it was 3 weeks after I started streaming. I do believe it was 3 weeks after I started streaming is when Corey found me and offered to help me with my Discord and from with moderating for the stream. I think it was 3 weeks after I started. Yeah, Corey's been around almost from the beginning. And God bless Corey. He has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. I cannot thank him enough for all of the help he has offered and given in the Discord, on the stream, all of it. Corey has been absolutely amazing. And I can never say thank you enough for it.
And you know, he shot us a giant gun safe with a punt gun and all kinds of stuff. And this one is, you know, what would actually happen from the clip or from the thumbnail. It looked like what would actually happen if you shot Wolverine, someone with metal bones or metal covered bones with a gun.
Well, I think I deep dove with Wolverine on this one.
Would you be able to stop him? And we'll see. He might be taking out the healing factor part of it, but we're going to see. So let me pause this.
Oh, that's why I did. I had that royalty-free music.
Bring up
in the background.
Bit. There we go.
Oh yeah, this was also before I realized that through OBS, I didn't have to have desktop audio. I could actually I could separate my audio of every single source. And oh my God, I was so fucking scuffed back then. I literally now I have 10 different audio sources, my OBS. I think when I first started, I had 3 because I was just like, oh, desktop audio, and I'll just use desktop audio for fucking everything. And it's like I didn't know how to really use OBS. Well, no, Revan, the music I used was copyright-free music. That music was copyright-free, so I didn't get hit for copyright or anything. But it's like I didn't know how to separate my audio sources in OBS, and so it was like I had 3 different audios. I had the desktop audio, my microphone, and I think maybe one other one, and that was it.
And so let's check this out. This is probably going to be interesting. And 3, 2, 1.
Oh, dang it!
No, Ember, move!
Oh,
Move, Ember!
What are you doing, Scooby?
There you go. Oh wait, I'm covered. Wait.
Okay?
Okay, I may do some bouncing around here because I think I moved to the other side, but I'll bounce over here for now so you can see me.
Okay, well, just put the claws down.
Oh,
It's pretty
fuck,
simple.
Ember!
I can't.
Put
God
myself
damn
over
it,
here.
Ember!
All my life.
God
and
damn it,
I
Ember!
finally got claws implanted. First of all, why would you do that? And second of all, what doctor would do that? First of all, they are stinking awesome. And second of all, some guy found on Craigslist. So you can't retract them at all. Nope. Perfectly out. Gotcha. Listen, I got a really big favor to ask you, okay? I gotta pee real bad.
Go, no,
Warmos, they're all on my YouTube.
No. Scott, please say no. Please say no.
No. Come on, please. Scott. Yeah, I don't care. No, I'm not doing that. Please, I gotta pee. Good luck, buddy. Ah, now I understand his pain. This is why he's always so angry.
Actually, I'm gonna have to.
What did I do?
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, this is bad.
Then
Good
full
night,
screen
Deadass.
it?
Thank
What?
you for stopping by, and I hope you come back again soon. Good night.
Angry.
Well, less audio sources means I have more fine control over them, Revan.
Ember,
What's up,
I'm
everybody?
glad you have a model that is tailor-made to you. I felt the
thank
same
you.
way after creating mine. Heading
Thank
to
you,
work.
Canito.
Now, El Atar.
Okay, Canito, thank you for coming by. Sorry you have to work tonight, but I hope you have a good time at work.
Everybody, my name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics, and this is what it would.
Oh, Scott, what is up with that hair?
Yes!
What is up? That's not even
Stay here!
Wolverine's hair. Oh, Scott.
I sound like a
I better get an explanation for this.
Look like
I
if you
sound
ordered
okay. I sound so disappointed. I sound like Scott. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in you, Scott. I require an explanation for this young man. No, Carboy, he's trying to be Wolverine. Notice the claws. Scott was emulating Wolverine. Yeah, I did. I sounded like a disappointed mother. God.
Wolverine off Wish. I am very
Okay.
excited about
I'll
today's
accept that.
video. This has taken a very long time.
Wait, what did I? Wait, what was that?
Better get an explanation for this.
Look like if you ordered Wolverine off Wish. I am very
Okay.
excited about
I'll
today's
accept that.
video.
Okay, fair,
This has taken
fair.
a very long time to put together, and I don't think the timing could be any better with the new Wolverine and Deadpool movie coming out. So today I have an actual Wolverine torso. This is real adamantium. Well, you don't believe me? Well, here,
No.
look at this. Here's a magnet. I'll put this on his rib cage. Stick it on a rib. And it will even stick to his skull. So today I have several different firearms ranging from small all the way up to very large and some very special ammunition.
Yes.
I really would like to know, and I hope he tells us, what metal that actually is, because obviously, well, not adamantium, different metals would be able to resist against different calibers much differently. I mean,
Spoiler alert. He does not, in fact, tell us what metal was used in the construction of this ballistic gel torso. I was so disappointed by this. I was so disappointed.
I'm really curious what, because I'm not even sure what would be the closest type of metal available in reality to adamantium. The only thing I can think of would be maybe tungsten? I
Tungsten
believe
would be
there
the
is
only closest thing.
I hope he tells us what metal this actually is.
And we're going to see just how tough Wolverine is and if you would even stand a chance. I am very excited to get started, so let's go get set up and get to it. So up first is something that would probably just make him angry. This is a rough...
Well, titanium is no stronger than steel is. Titanium is just more lightweight. It's a lightweight version of steel. Tungsten, as I understand it, is denser than steel and stronger
is
than
true.
steel, as I understand it. I hope I'm remembering my metallurgy correctly. But titanium is no different than normal steel. It's just
Yes,
lighter
the
weight.
correct thing. Yeah, it would be.
Which makes it very useful for building, as a material for building various things that you might need steel for. But it does make it any tougher.
Rider 22 long rifle. It's rather big, but it shoots a very small
Generous?
round.
Kind
This is
of,
a
I happen,
40
yes.
round,
It's a
22
little
long
baby
rifle.
round. I love the slow-mo.
All right.
I think I could
So
see the
check that
bullet
out.
on there.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we have
Andrea.
a kit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I had no idea at this point. Like, I didn't have an idea of what the cost was for these ballistic gel torsos. Like, how much Scott might have to spend on them. I was completely oblivious. to all of that. So to me, it was like, okay, it's a ballistic shell torso. Maybe it's like, I think in my head at the time, I was thinking it was probably like $200 or $300. Little did I know one of these ballistic shell torsos might be like $1,000. I had no idea at the time. And when you factor in that they put metal in this one, this thing must have cost like $1,500. 2,600 for a standard ballistic shell torso, Wolfie? It's 2,600. I thought it was like 1,000. Or no, wait. Am I thinking of just the ballistic shell blocks that are 1,000? Is that what I'm thinking of? Because the ballistic, yeah. I'm thinking of those the blocks of ballistic shell, not the dummies. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Right here, and if you look closely, you can see that that round actually
It's still there.
splattered and broke up on his sternum. So in that case right there, I'd be running. So that 22 long rifle is literally nothing. So now we're going to step it up to 5.7. This is a Ruger 5.7.
Ooh, a 5.7.
With some 40 grain.
Which, according to Badger, has a buff against poor people. And if Badger says it, it must be true.
5.7 by 28. It's a fast, mean little round. Here we go. Ooh.
That one slipped between the
Did
ribs.
he actually
Can't
get
remember.
the rib cage?
Wow. So I managed to hit his rib. Look at that. It exploded inside there. It hit that rib and just
I
shattered.
forgot about that.
Old Wolverine here would literally just laugh at you. So now we're going to step
Yeah,
it up to
cool.
9mm.
Well, Wolverine wouldn't laugh at you. He'd basically pop his claws, go, motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind? And yeah, that's why people don't. That's why 5.7 is not really carried, is because the rounds for 5.7 are pricey. Very, very pricey.
Mechanic TTI Combat. This thing is absolutely awesome. And I'm going to load it up with some Underwood ammo.
Yes, I know
157
Blade said it.
grain
Yes, I
9mm.
know.
Oh, it's getting hot. I do not know.
Okay, then I will give you a quote that Wolverine actually said. If you shot him with a 5.7, he'd pop his claws and go, "Let's fucking go." There you go. There's an actual Wolverine line for you. And technically, Blade and Wolverine were in the same movie together, so it still works for him saying, "Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?" Technically, it still works. They were in the same movie together. I'm just saying.
Know how anyone with hair does this. If I was Wolverine, I'd totally shave my head. Here we go.
He has. It grows back.
I had to put that in, and I'm right. I had to put in that, when Scott said if I was Wolverine, I'd shave my head, and I just said he has. It grows back. Because it's true. In one comic book, he actually goes undercover, shaves his head bald, and goes undercover for 1 day, and by the end of the day, it had grown back because of his healing factor. His healing factor causes his hair to regrow very quickly.
Right?
Yes, I did,
chest plate.
Fenris. I knew.
I think I hit in the same hole as the 22 long rifle. I was accidentally accurate, and that round hit and broke up, and you can see the jacket is right there towards his collarbone. So at this point, I think I would be reconsidering going to combat with Wolverine. I would make
Fun fact about
Uh-huh.
Wolverine's hair, because of Wolverine's
go.
healing factor, for those that
Of
are
course,
not
I would talk about
comic
this.
book aficionados, Wolverine has a healing factor, which means he can heal from any injury, any disease, any illness, extremely quickly, as in within minutes.
I would certainly hope so, Revan.
This healing factor also does apply to his hair, because in one comic book, when he shaved his head to go undercover,
Oh God, did I quote
by
myself?
the end of the issue, which was only over the course of maybe a day or so, his hair had already mostly grown back. So his healing factor also applies to his hair. So he
I
would be able to
literally
shave
just
his head
quoted
in the hot
myself. God
sun.
damn it!
He would just kind of have to deal with it.
Maybe try to talk it out
Oh,
with him,
yeah,
but
Gore.
he's going to be pretty angry at this point. So up next,
Wolverine's
we're gonna
always
step it
angry.
up to good old 45 ACP. But if I'm going to use 45 ACP against Wolverine, I'm going to make sure I got two 45 ACPs. This is my
A
That's
double?
right.
1911, and I'll be loaded up
The
with
dueler.
2 rounds of 45.
Oh boy, we've seen him use this in the past. This thing is not very accurate. He might end up shooting the table instead of the dummy. Let's
Yes,
see
it
what
does,
happens.
Canito.
ACP. Let's see how he likes this. Oh,
Thank you, Arbel.
Wow, right in the same spot. That was impressive.
okay.
Forgot how
Both of
accurate.
those hit in the same spot as the 9.
I forgot how accurate Scott was on this
And
one.
there is smoke coming out of here. Nothing has happened to his sternum, except it is really getting a lot of lead buildup. Look at all those jackets in there.
That's okay,
That is
Lumia. It's
nuts.
okay.
And really, we still haven't factored in his healing factor. I mean, not only are we not doing any damage to him, these are just flesh wounds. He
Look
can
at me.
heal
Yeah,
up, and
uh-huh.
it'll be no big deal. If the good old 45 ACP can't defeat
Thank you,
Wolverine,
Raven.
I
Have a
don't know
wonderful
what can.
night.
I think it's time to get a little more serious. Up next, I have a Glock 40 chambered in 10 millimeter, and I have some Underwood ammo, 180 grain 10 millimeter. You definitely don't want that to happen. If
Boy, I've never seen him do that before. That's the first time I think I've ever seen him drop a magazine. Oh boy, Scott. He must be really scared of Wolverine.
Oh, God, my humor was so
you're in
bad.
a battle with Wolverine, that right there, you'd be done. I mean, I was just trying to show you that.
My
as a
humor was
scenario.
so bad. I was
Totally did that on.
okay. In my defense, I was still brand new to streaming, and I hadn't found my voice yet. And so I was just I was trying to be funny and not knowing what I was doing. I'm like, okay, I'll make a little joke. Ha 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 ha. It's yeah, I mean, part of that set is from the voice I was using at the time, but also how I in case you haven't seen, in case you isn't clear, I was far less talkative in I was far less talkative in in doing reacts in my early days compared to what I do now. It's like I still like I was more I think Silver was more of I was more comfortable in my humor, so I used it more. I think that's what it was like. I've grown more comfortable talking on stream, particularly because I have more people in the stream and I'm able to, get more feedback, more engagement, and so I grew more comfortable talking. And yeah, I got more confidence from it because people were having fun with what I was doing, so I was feeling more confident in what I did. Back then, I think I had like maybe 2 people in the stream. And so I was basically like I was basically talking to myself during these early days, during these early reacts. I was talking to myself, which is very difficult. It's very difficult to do reacts when I'm talking to myself and I don't have chat in the background that is offering feedback, offering corrections, offering challenges that I can then work off of. If I'm just like talking just to talk, it's difficult because I have no idea if what I'm saying is fun or engaging or enjoyable. And I'm guessing. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretending like I'm talking to people that are actually there. The downside is I don't get any feedback to it. And so I don't know if what I'm saying is entertaining or not. And so that's part of why I maybe sound like
On purpose. It's just hair. It's all in my eyes and I can't see. Let's aim a little lower this time and see what happens. Oh, okay.
Is it gonna hit? Well, it didn't hit a bone, so.
All
Ew.
right, bub. Looks like we finally struck oil. He would definitely heal up from that. Oh my goodness, he has silver blood. Wow.
Interesting. They did silver.
Well,
I
that's
forgot they
weird.
did silver blood for
We
that.
know over time that adamantium actually becomes toxic, starts kind of hurting him. So maybe that's a result of it.
I is what if he shoot up front? What do you mean? What do you mean by shoot up front? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
They made steel that is rated that's quarter eighth inch thick. Ah, okay. Oh God, and
Like
this was all. This was also something I had to contend with, like where I was just like dead silent there, where I asked Wagyu what he meant. Like that was also something I had to contend with. Is like I would ask a question and then I'd kind of like sit there for, in terms of streaming, a long time, waiting for an answer, and I wasn't sure I'd get one. Like when I ask a question, it's like, okay, how long should I wait before I start talking again? If they don't answer and just keep going, like I didn't know. I had no idea what to do. And so it's like I'd ask a question, I just sit there. Like, okay, please, and I'm dead in my head, I think I was going, please answer. Please answer. Well, believer, he knows his Wolverine cinematic lore. Is to best of my understanding, Wolverine, I don't think suffered from adamantium poisoning in the comics. Because his healing factor was taking care of that. His healing factor prevented the adamantium poisoning in the comics. That's why when Magneto ripped the adamantium out of his bones, his healing factor went into overdrive because it didn't have to account for the adamantium anymore. Exactly. Yeah.
Cause he'd been shooting him directly in the chest plate so far. So I'm not sure what you mean by up front. Because the thing is like he was saying, even if he doesn't hit one of the bones,
Old
Wolverine's
Man
got a
Logan, I
healing
don't think
factor,
is main
so he'd
continuity
recover
though,
from a
Timothy.
gunshot wound
I don't think that's the
in
main
seconds
continuity.
anyway. But I really love the fact that Scott kind of knows
Firefly,
his
thank you for
Wolverine
the
lore
follow.
about how the adamantium is over decades of it being bonded to his skeleton has sort of become to toxic to him. Pointing on right of the ball. Ah, I see what you mean. So it's possible, because I haven't watched this video before, and this is the first time I'm watching it. It's possible that may be one of his tests. Maybe
He does.
will.
Tiago, in the Fatal Attractions storyline, Magneto rips all of the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, and his healing factor does it short circuits at first, trying to keep him alive, but then when it returns, it kicks into overdrive because it no longer has to contend with the adamantium in his bones, and he goes feral. So he basically Wolverine basically kind of mutated after Fatal Attractions. After time, he mutated. He did become bigger and stronger, and his healing factor went into overdrive, and he was healing 10 times faster. No, Alistair, it was not the Weapon X era. This was while he was in the X-Men. He was they went up against Magneto, and Magneto literally rips all of the adamantium out of Wolverine's body. And he doesn't go feral at first. It's just after a time, his healing factor kind of short circuits and he's not healing as effectively. But then when it finally recovers, his healing factor kicks into overdrive, and Ed basically mutates him, so he becomes sort of a much more bestial, feral person. No, was that what it was, zombie? I thought it was just his healing factor kicked in because I know it was Apocalypse that reimplanted the adamantium into his bones. Maybe it was he mutated because they tried to reach someone else did first. I mean, Diablo, I used to love comics. I used to love the old school comics. I have not read comics in a long time. Um, like I have not read comics in several years now because I don't like the direction the comic book industry has gone. But I love the OG comics. The OG old school comics back from like the 90s were great.
Walk right up to him and do a point blank shot on dummy torso. We'll see. He may decide to do that exactly, which will be interesting to see. So, but I mean, I think
This
it's
is
just
a kind
great
work, Nick.
that he's like, I don't know if he did research into the lore of Wolverine or if he's a Wolverine fan like I am. That it's great that he knows this stuff. It's so cool.
Being in his body too long. Silver.
I was so happy Scott knew
blood.
about Logan.
Huh. It still didn't make it all the way through him. It stopped on his back rib. It hit and
wow, I
splattered
forgot about that.
inside him. So he would heal up from that just fine, and eventually his body would just push out those lead shards. And oh my goodness, he's already stopped bleeding. It's not looking too good for us non-mutants. And if you are also a non-mutant such as myself and you enjoy this content, you need to do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future awesome content. And make sure you hit that bell for notifications. All these rounds have done absolutely
I believe
nothing
you're
to Miss
Robo. I believe you are indeed correct because if I'm not mistaken, Laura Kinney's bones are not laced with adamantium. The only thing that's adamantium is her claws, not her bones. So that's why her healing factor would work better than Logan's. Is her body is not trying to her healing factor is not trying to counteract like a half a ton of adamantium just covering every single bone. So I believe you may be correct about that.
Mr. Wolverine over there. So now it's time to step it up to the old Glock 50 cal. This is my Gun Crafter Industries 50 GI, and I have some.
Diogo, I think she may age to a normal point and then stop.
Take this, Logan.
This is a good shot.
I'm thinking. No, that's not it. Oh, I hit him right here.
Yeah.
And that actually just kind of clipped off of his rib. And it's not back there. Up next, I have a gun that even Deadpool himself would be jealous of. This is a Magnum Research Desert Eagle 50AE suppressed.
I saw him shoot this gun in a previous video. This gun is insane. It is so quiet with that suppressor, and it's incredibly hard to suppress a 50 caliber pistol. I watched him use this in a previous video. This pistol is so.
Yes, that suppressor is very long and thick. Chats. We like our suppressors long and thick. Don't we? Piercing. Rounded. Blue. And Lycan Biker, thank you for the follow. Xanax, I love them thick. I love them chunky.
Quiet. He didn't even need to wear hearing protection when firing it. The suppressor was so good and he was so quiet, he didn't even need to wear hearing protection to fire it. He was perfectly fine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the suppressor is 100% bigger than the pistol. But it works. It quiets.
Okay, Lycan, I'm curious. You were curious about this channel, and now you're interested. Which channel are you referencing? I have to know. Are you talking about Scott's channel or my channel? I gotta know. I gotta know what you're referencing there, just out of curiosity. Aw, thank you, Lycan. Thank you. Mannix! Thank you, Mannix. Thank you so much. Okay, I don't think Cinder was ever classified as a lewd tuber, honestly. I really don't.
The sound so much that it it you know, I don't know if you've ever fired guns before. They're loud. They're loud. You need hearing protection, otherwise you get that ringing in your ears, which can, be caused by tinnitus. He doesn't even have to wear hearing protection when he fires this weapon because the suppressor deadens the noise
Yeah, she did,
so
Shadow.
significantly. It's incredible to see.
And I'll be loaded up with some subsonic.
Wait. She does, Tyso? I can't remember if I was aware of that. Okay. I don't know if that's still good where I'm at. Yeah, like an egg. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some lovely little ee. And, some hurt wrists.
And I'll be loaded up with some subsonic 450
Hello.
grain 50 AE. Chimichangas. Oh.
Oh, that went through.
Looks like I hit right here.
Mattered.
And we got in between those ribs.
Okay.
And oh, wow. Okay. So Deadpool may be onto something packing around Desert Eagles because we made it between those two ribs and
All right. Hang on. You guys love it so much. Hang on. I will reduce the bonk to 5. There you go. I will reduce the bonk to 5. As long as you don't spam it. No spamming the bonk. But I will reduce it down to 5.
and then back here we hit this rear rib and you can see it's bent. And then the bullet actually made it all the way out the back. He may have a little trouble breathing after that one. I don't know how you set an adamantium rib. Does someone just like hit him in the back with a sledgehammer? Like, how does that work?
Don't.
The Desert
You
Eagle
don't.
did quite a bit of damage to old Wolverine. So now we're going to try out something a little bit more powerful than that. This is a Smith & Wesson Performance Center 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. And this is going to be loaded up with some Underwood ammo, 350 grain, 500 Magnum. Okay.
Kaboom.
This kills bears. This, by the way, this is a, if I'm not mistaken, this is a bear stopping round. This will stop a bear. So this is a big bullet.
And that's what I was a lot of times in the early days like this is what I was doing. I was stopping and I was basically trying to add commentary. And that's why I said, like, oh, this is a big bullet. This is for stopping bears. Again, I had I had Wagyu in the chat, and that was it. I had one person in my chat. And it was my efforts to try and basically not just watch a video. Like my purpose was to react to a video, not to just sit on stream watching videos, because that's boring. And I was trying to basically give my own input into it and information. And that's why I basically just right there I said, this is something that stops bears. This is made for stopping bears. Like, yeah, I might say that now. I might actually say that. But I don't know if I'd necessarily stop the video for it. I might just comment while Scott was loading up. And yeah, I was shy, but at the same time, I was also trying to add something to the video when I did a react. Like that was the whole thing. It's like I wanted to I want to add my own context, my own thoughts on it, and I wasn't sure how to do it at the time. I wasn't sure, like, okay, what would be appropriate to talk about? What things can I kind of talk about? And so I hadn't figured out my commentary. I hadn't figured out quite how to react yet. And so that's why I'm like, doing these pauses like that, where like you talk about the caliber of the round, and then I paused and said, and this can kill bears. It's like, okay, yeah, you didn't need to pause it for that. And the voice also doesn't help. The voice, the voice being very soft, very, very quiet is a factor in that. So yeah, exactly, zombie. It's like when you're first starting out, you're trying to figure yourself out, find your feet, that kind of thing. And that's what I was doing. I was finding my metaphorical voice along with my actual voice. So it's yeah.
Oh,
And, okay, I could be crazy, but it looked like it just, whoops, I hate when I do that. It looked like
I
it
still do
just
that by accident.
stopped. It looked like it just stopped dead in his torso.
God, now I've got to hunt for it again.
Like when he shot it, it looked like it didn't go. I'll play it again. It looked like it stopped in his torso.
This was also before I got better at doing very frame by frame examinations of these GunTuber videos. I'm pretty sure back at this point, I did not know about the frame advance keys on the keyboard for YouTube videos, using like the comma and period keys to do a frame by frame advance or rewind. And so I hadn't figured out how to do a more extensive examination of a video during a GunTuber rack, so we could look at and analyze the gun and the impacts and things like that.
So. That could just be because of the flow,
so
but
let's
it looked like it
inspect.
stopped dead.
Hit right here. Looks like we managed to just kind of clip that rib and go in between.
Oh, so is the
And,
plume.
oh wow, we actually have an exit hole. We made it in between these two ribs back here, it looks like. But still, I don't really feel like we would be doing much.
Oh yeah, Revin, the
Wolverine at this
like
point. He would
toggling
feel
like crazy and not
super
realizing
Blasted
it.
out
Yup.
the ass
Turn
of
you
the
into a
table.
shish kebab. We got
It completely blew its ass out.
Well, not the table's ass, but I think he was aiming for Logan's ass here. Yes. And yeah, Revin, the toggles. Oh my sweet fuck. Okay, chat, for context, back during this time, I still didn't have a Stream Deck yet. So all of my models' toggles were keyboard keys. Typically like on a numpad or something. So I would accidentally trigger toggles all the goddamn time when I was streaming. Once I got the Stream Deck and I figured out how to properly program it, because when I first got my Stream Deck and I put the emotes and the expressions into the Stream Deck, they were still tied to keyboard keys. It was just I would put the toggle into the Stream Deck, but it was still like, okay, when I press this button on the Stream Deck, it's going to be like I'm pressing a key on my keyboard. And it wasn't until later that I realized, oh, Stream Deck actually has a plugin that will allow you to directly access VTube Studio and you can actually pull a toggle directly from VTube Studio and put it into the Stream Deck. So when you hit that toggle, it's not going to also engage your keyboard at the same time. Like back then, when I first started, I was still trying to figure out VTube Studio with how to work with the, trigger the expressions and everything like that. It took a while to really get that dialed in, and even more when I got the Steam Deck. No, Anubis, when I first got the Steam Deck, I did not know about the plugin for VTube Studio. So when I first got the Steam Deck and I programmed in my toggles, I programmed in the Steam Deck so when I hit the toggle, it was basically acting like I hit the number on the keyboard associated with that toggle. It was sometime after that I discovered that Elgato Steam Deck software has a plugin for VTube Studio that would allow me to erase the toggle keys from VTube Studio and just directly plug in the toggle into the Steam Deck. So when I hit the toggle on the Steam Deck, it's not like emulating a key press on the keyboard. It's literally just activating the toggle from VTube Studio directly. That, I think I figured that out probably like 3 months after this video came out, I'd say. It took a while, but before then, I still had all of my expression toggles set to keyboard keys, usually on the numpad, and so I was constantly accidentally engaging toggles, and it was just like, I'd engage a toggle, not realize it, and a toggle would be like, my arms folded, or I'd be blushing, or I'd have a sweat drop or something, and I'd be like, oh fuck, I've got the toggle, and I'd have to turn the toggle off.
Gotta try something else. That is pretty.
Yeah,
much
especially
as
that,
far as
Rygat.
we can go with handguns. So now we are going to step it up to rifles. Because let's be honest, if you were going to war against Wolverine, you would definitely take a rifle over a handgun. So the first rifle we have is an AR-15 chambered in 5.56, and I have a 20 round
Necrotic.
mag with
Thank you
2
very
rounds
much.
of Underwood ammo 5.56. Okay.
Oh, Andrew, you mean like this? A little toggle like that? Actually, that's not even a toggle. This model reacts to when I stick my tongue out, chat. So when I do this, I'm actually sticking my tongue out.
Okay, let's give him one down low, one up top.
Okay, see what he did. Okay, well, it's obviously where no bones are. Oh, I couldn't tell what it did.
Oh, yes, Kendrak.
Haha. So he got hit right here, and that did a little bit of damage. It did go out the back, and I'm sure he had a tummy ache from that, but he'd heal up pretty quick. And even right here, we hit the sternum / rib right there, and it looks like it broke up all on that sternum. And he probably got some shrapnel into his lung, but I don't think he would care. That 5.56 did absolutely
Thank you,
nothing.
Moss.
And if I was
Thank
gonna pick
you.
between that and this next rifle, I would totally go with this. This is an Ohio Ordnance H-Car 30-06, and I have a 20 round mag loaded up.
No, Colonel, but it does do this.
With some Underwood ammo, 165 grain Accubon 30-06. This rifle most definitely is suitable for battling Wolverine.
That's a big gun. That's definitely a big gun, chat.
Yeah, that's where the old voice was failing me. Because if I was to say it today, I would say, that's a big gun, chat. That's a big gun. And you can hear the emotiveness in my voice. The old voice, unfortunately, didn't allow for that emotiveness. And that's why I changed off of it. Yeah, that was the downside of that voice, is it simply was not expressive. You know, basically the way I said that in my old video, like me personally on the other side of the microphone, is I said it like, that's a big gun. That's a big gun. Which with the voice I'm using now, you can hear it. You can hear that emotive. You could not hear it in the old voice. And Bandihog, thank you for the follow. So that's one reason why I changed off of the old voice. Is, well, either that or if I was trying to be sexy and sultry. It works great for sexy and sultry. It doesn't work very good for just commentating like I do.
Give him one down low. Oh! Ah, he definitely felt that one.
You might have been too off on that one.
The Royal, because it's my 1-year stream anniversary, we are looking back on one of my very first reacts when I started streaming 1 year ago. And we're looking at how I've changed and how I do reacts to videos back then versus how I do them now. And I'm trying to offer some context into why I was doing things the way I did, the problems I was having that I've since been able to correct, or maybe some issues that are still prevalent today. So we're just basically seeing how far I've come in 1 year compared to, comparatively. Thank you, Orca.
That one was pretty low.
So it looks like 30-06 out of an H car would definitely cause a little more.
That's correct, J10.
We hit right there, and you can see we have quite a bit of internal damage, and right here you could really see some damage. Looks like we did manage to hit his rib.
Yes, it is, Druid. Yes, it is.
Bend to it, but we still have an exit hole. It looks like it went around it, and then we definitely have an exit hole down here. That would definitely slow him down, but I think at some point he would probably still catch up to you. I don't care what superpowers you have. I would not want to be hit with this rifle regardless. This is a CZ 550 bolt-action safari rifle chambered in 416 Rigby, aka 416 Honey Badger, because this thing don't care about nothing. This is a 300.
Tell me I say it.
Core.
Tell me I say it.
This is gonna cause.
God damn it, Ember! God damn it, Ember! You had an opportunity there. When Scott said the line, you could have said, Honey Badger don't give a fuck. I am so disappointed with myself for missing that opportunity. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, Ember. Really. You. Damn it, me! How could you miss that? How could you fuck that up? It was served up on a silver platter to you. How could you miss that?
Quite a bit of damage to.
This is gonna hurt.
Shadow Spar, that's entirely possible, may have gone right over my head at the time.
Yes, I have. I've fired many different
Thank you,
guns,
Shadows.
before. I fired pistols. I fired rifles. I've even had the opportunity to fire vehicle-mounted weapons. So yes, I have fired.
Yeah, and this part is where I was starting to do like basically some Ember lore drop. And I was uncertain of how much I wanted to reveal about myself. Where I was saying like, yes, I fired guns, and I started kind of going into the guns that I fired. like that early on, I was like, I still am careful about how much of myself I reveal in terms of my personal life. Back then, I was totally
This is a
unsure.
big boy. I like him. Give me big boy.
It is a
Come
big boy. Not a minigun, Anubis. I have not been fortunate enough to fire the minigun, but I have rocked a Modus. And that I have done. Minigun, no. Modus, yes. Modus, and I did have the opportunity once to play with the Mark 19. But back then, during this time, I wasn't sure how much I should reveal about myself. Because you know, it was a question of like, I was just starting, and it's like, okay, you know, at this point, several streamers had already been doxxed. Like, doxing was still a thing back then, and I was like, okay, I've got to try very hard not to dox myself, and, you know, I wasn't sure what to reveal about myself. So that's why I said, like, I fire pistols, I fire rifles, and I've even fired some vehicle-mounted weapons.
This reminds me, we still need Ember's SF lore. What special forces team were you in?
I was in the cat squad. Yes, Aloha, but I can't just fuck off to Vegas anytime I want, you know? It's not really an option for me.
I have fired a fair amount of guns
And yes,
in my
Emperor,
life.
this is my new model.
I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be a firearms.
Yes, Zep, yes, that was 2 days ago. Things have obviously changed in a year. That's okay, Emperor. Hope you like the new model. I'm loving it. I'm loving my new model. Like, and I mean, Zeb, it's also like I've grown more confident in myself because you have to remember, when I was streaming this, I had one person in chat, and I was completely not confident in myself. I've been able to gain more confidence, and I have been able to come into my own and feel better about myself and feel better about my stream. And now I have the confidence that I can say things like that because I have because I have a wonderful community that I know will have my back and support me and be there for me if I run into troubles like that. Back then, I had nothing, and I was very unsure of myself. So that's why I kind of kept it a little bit close to the vest. Oh, I knows that. And I'm still careful. That's why I still am careful about talking about things in my personal life. It's why, you know, I can be vague about when I talk about family and, you know, and obviously I don't give away what my job is and things like that. I still am careful. I'm not just like, fuck it all, I'm gonna say everything. No, I'm not gonna do that. But I feel more confident, and I have people that have my back now, which makes me a bit more comfortable in some of the things I say, where I didn't have that back then. I can be a bit more free when it comes to discussing, things and talking about things in my life. I'm more comfortable doing so because I have a great community that will back me up.
So I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be a firearms expert by any means, but I do have something of an understanding when it comes to the weapons. No, I have not fired a tank. No,
Yo.
that I have not done.
Thank you, Tornado.
Gonna give it to him right in the sternum. Oh!
Oh, I think you might have been a bit low there, Scott.
All right, tell you what.
It-
Let's give him one
And
more.
of course, I also back then wasn't as reactive to the damage that Scott was doing with these guns. Like, you
This reminds me we still need Ember's SF lore. What special forces team were you in?
repeating yourself, Zip Ties? Oh, you probably said that 5 minutes ago. It just now ticked in. Yeah, like I think I was like really I was too focused, honestly, on the damage to the bones that I wasn't appreciative of the soft tissue damage that these guys were doing. Because you guys, like when we've watched Scott videos, like I'm always like, oh, look at the damage that it's done to the soft tissue in addition to other things like when using body armor. I was like hyper focused on the damage that was being done to the bones. I completely neglected the soft tissue damage, which I see now as an oversight because if I, if I reacted to this today for the first time, I would have been much more animated in regards to the overall damage that was being done by these weapons, as opposed to just hyper fixating on, okay, did it damage the bones? Because like, when he hits the soft tissue, I'm just like, oh, there's Scott, and completely ignored what that round was doing to the body. So again, it kind of showed you how I was able to relax and be able to take in the videos in a more overall viewpoint instead of fixating on one specific context of it.
But a little bit lower.
Into J10 very possibly. It's just,
my goodness. Wolverine
yeah.
down.
Oh, okay, Falcon. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for everything tonight, Falcon. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I can't wait to see you again. Hopefully tomorrow, when I stream tomorrow.
Huh.
Yeah, see, me now, I would have been like,
definitely
holy
hurt.
fuck!
Those 416 Rigby rounds were actually a compound of vibranium and adamantium. And as you can see here, we did quite a bit of damage. We actually made it.
Look at my expression of doubt.
Really? You're gonna pretend like those bullets were made from the same stuff that Captain America's shield was made out of? I guess for people that are only familiar with the MCU, the original Captain America's shield in the comic books was actually made from a blend of adamantium and vibranium. The reason why they did only vibranium, why they only did vibranium in the MCU is because at the time the MCU came out, Marvel still did not have the rights to any of the X-Men properties. They still resided with Fox. Fox still
This is
held
true.
all the rights for the X-Men properties.
This is all
and
true.
Amongst those was the fictional material adamantium. So Marvel was not able to.
Yes, and Anubis, you're right. It was, and that's sort of tied in with Fox owning the IPs for the X-Men, because in the IPs of X-Men was also the characterization of mutants. And that's why Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in the Avengers films were not classified as mutants. They were classified as, quote, enhanced, unquote. And so, they couldn't, because Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are mutants, but they could never classify them as that. Because Marvel had not yet, the MCU didn't have the rights to it. And you know what, Zombie? I mean, you can criticize the early X-Men movies. They were in their infancies, but Fox did do some good things with those IPs. I mean, Logan was a fantastic fucking movie. Logan was fucking great. You know, but they were also in their infancy of trying to bring a franchise like X-Men to the big screen and be able to market it to non-comic book fans. It was a challenge, and you know what? They succeeded, because if they hadn't, you would not have had Marvel buy Fox in order to bring the X-Men into the MCU. So they started off slow, but in the end, they did well with it. Oh, you gotta leave, Moose? Okay, have a wonderful night, Moose.
Guys, adamantium in any of its movies until
Yeah, Revan, we don't talk about that.
It bought out Fox several years ago, after Endgame had already come out. So that's why Captain America's shield is only made of vibranium, and it's not the traditional adamantium vibranium mixture. So a little bit of comic book nerd history there for you.
Through his rib cage, put a hole right through it. We
Oof.
also hit right here. Let's roll old Wolverine over. Oh.
Bye.
Okay. Yep.
Well, I forgot how much.
Not looking too.
Now, chat. Yeah. God damn it. Okay, what I was going to say was that is how you blow the back out. And yes, what would my streams be without a little bit of scuff? Well, Gort, yeah, both would have worked, but it would have been good if I could have said the line before the sound quality went off.
Too good. Right here in the back, we are missing a pretty big chunk. Actually, it's right here. It goes right there. I don't believe we managed to hit any ribs, but we did hit his shoulder blade, and it is all kinds of bent. Oh my goodness, look behind there.
Really, Moss? He has scuff
is
streams?
all
I didn't
kinda
know that.
nasty. Okay, well, again, in this situation, I mean, I know he has healing powers, but is it going to heal up around this, and he's just going to have a big old metal shoulder blade sticking out of his back for the rest of his life now?
I mean, I know Scott's having fun with this, and he.
Okay, correction officer. I'm glad you found me too, and I hope you'll come back for more streams. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night also.
He knows it's not the same thing, but I mean, the whole concept is adamantium is unbreakable. It is one
Yes,
of the.
Revan, he
It
did.
is the strongest metal in the Marvel Universe. It is unbreakable, with the exception of another object being made out of adamantium, and even then it's not a certainty. Or, you know, there's a couple of, you know, the mystical type metals and stuff that are not quote unquote naturally occurring. So while it might, you know, slip between his ribs or something, it wouldn't blow out his shoulder blade like that. It would just probably ricochet around inside of him and really hurt. But again, so I'm kind of really curious what metal was used for the scout.
Anubis? Okay. Lady Deathstrike can't really fuck Logan up big time because even though she's got adamantium, it is still metal, and you still need to have enough force to break metal. And as strong as Lady Deathstrike is, she's not strong enough to literally break metal. It's essentially like it's steel on steel. You have to have enough strength behind it to actually facilitate breaking or bending the metal. So she can fuck him up because of her claws. She can rip into his soft tissue, but she's not going to be able to like really break his. She's not going to be able to break his bones. Well, I mean, Well, Slagat, when you say nobody mentioned the fact, I had one person in the chat. That's the thing. This is one of my very first reacts, and I had literally one person in my chat at the time. I was basically talking to myself for the entire react for the most part. So that's why it was not mentioned that he got domed in one of the X-Men movies. And let's be honest, like X-Men Origins Wolverine was not exactly a very well received movie. And there was a lot of continuity issues involved in that. Like, he got domed in X-Men Origins, and somehow his adamantium-laced skull healed itself, adamantium and all. So, fucking explain that one. So yeah, the X-Men Origins Wolverine, there's a reason why it was not very well received. And Revan, he got domed by the police officer in X2, but the bullet didn't penetrate his skull. It basically stopped at his skull, and his healing factor just popped the bullet out. A little different there.
Skeleton in the stomach. I'm guessing it's just steel.
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
guessing
fair,
they just
Anubis.
used
That's very fair.
steel, regular steel to make up the bones, and that's it. But even
Oh,
still,
but Cody, that's the thing. It would be damn near impossible to get a blade hot enough to actually melt adamantium. That's the key there. No matter how, like, they did the whole thing in the Wolverine with their bastardization of the Silver Samurai, where his sword was hot enough to melt through adamantium. Realistically speaking, at least in the comics, that doesn't happen. You can't you can't make anything. You can't make a sword hot enough to cut through adamantium. For fuck's sake, adamantium could very likely adamantium could stop a lightsaber, which is like as hot as the goddamn sun. So that it's honestly it really wouldn't happen. That's why it's always that the only thing that can basically break adamantium is something else made of adamantium, and you still have to have enough like Newtonic force behind the attacking adamantium force to break the opposing adamantium thing. So, thank you, Dark-Knight2. Thank you very much.
considering what level Scott had to go to
But Tornado
with
in the
weapons
movie,
they
the
chose,
bullet did go into his
I
brain.
mean,
That was
how,
the problem.
how much he
And
how
yes,
high had to
Revan,
go
he
before
did.
he
It
actually
was
started
like
doing
about
damage.
300-400
I mean,
pounds.
That's impressive all on its own.
You would definitely need Colossus to knock that back into place for him. So I know what you've been saying this entire video. Scott, there's only one way to possibly take out Wolverine, and that's an adamantium bullet, and that's aiming at his upper region. If it were me...
Well, now here's the question. Are you talking about injured, or are we talking about catastrophically injured? Because he can still be injured by anything, but his healing factor makes it so that he will heal up almost instantaneously. So he
Good
can be
night,
injured.
AC/DC.
But if you're talking about like life threatening, the well, there have been a couple of times where the comic books nerfed his healing factor. Either it became severely overtaxed because he was injured so severely
Yes.
over an
Yes,
extended
Nico,
period
that's...
of time,
Yep.
his healing factor sort of short-circuited because it got overloaded.
Good night,
And it took some
Arca.
time
Have a
for it to
wonderful
get back
night.
to normal, during which time his healing was significantly reduced. They actually did, quote unquote, kill him off a few years back. Again,
Okay, so Revan, I know exactly what you're talking about there. The healing from one blood cell was not based on his healing factor. That was mystical. That was the comic book where they were fighting against like a mystical bad guy, and Wolverine was the only one left, and he went to go fight him, and this creature basically like had like hand claws and basically went through his guts, and Wolverine would have died except a single drop of his blood landed on this crystal, this magical crystal, and that magical crystal basically reconstituted Wolverine into his full state. So it was not his healing factor. I think it may have like it may have done something like supercharge the healing factor to allow it, but without that crystal, Logan does not reconstitute from a single cell. Now, I don't think that Deadpool can reconstitute from a single cell. I think there does need to be some kind of meat involved. Like, well, Deadpool's had like his hand chopped off, and another version of him has grown from that hand. That is true, but I don't think Deadpool's healing factor is to the point where a whole new version of him will reconstitute from a single cell. Because if that was the case, then the world would be overrun with Deadpools at this point. If the case was he would reconstitute into a whole new body from a single cell of blood, then the world would be nothing but Deadpools. There has to be like an actual like meat involved, something like that. And yeah, oh yes, Tornado. Well, Deadpool's healing factor absolutely does dominate Logan's. It does. Deadpool is functionally immortal. He is. And for a time, he actually was immortal, as someone mentioned, because Thanos cursed him, because that way Deadpool can never be with his true love of death, because Thanos loved death. And Thanos wanted to be with death, but death had the hots for Deadpool. And so to make sure Deadpool could never be with death, he cursed Deadpool with immortality. So yes. Well, Zip Ties, I think in Deadpool 2, they basically just put those parts together and they regrew back together to one another. He didn't grow a whole new body. They just basically took all the pieces, reassembled them like a jigsaw puzzle, and they reconnected to one another, I think is what is implied there.
His healing factor was removed entirely. And they actually did a full-on series I think it was called The Death of Wolverine, where he was trying to deal with this, and, he ended up wearing a set of ablated armor to protect him so he could still continue to
have a good
do
night,
superhero
Daph.
stuff. But, his the final issue, which quote unquote killed him, is and honestly, I think even with his healing factor, this might have killed him anyway, he ended up getting covered in liquid adamantium so significantly,
Yep.
he basically turned into a statue. Just like a blob type statue. It's like it was a vaguely
This is
human
true.
shape with
This
claws.
is true.
But and presumably he suffocated. So
we do get into
I know
it.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
I know
This is what I
exactly
get
the comic
into.
book you're talking about. And with that,
wasn't what Ultimate Wolverine, Robin, that his healing factor allowed him to heal from a single cell? Or what are you referencing to in terms of Ultimate Wolverine? No, that was not Ultimate, Robin. No, that was main 616 continuity. When Logan, when his healing factor short circuited, and he basically got covered in adamantium and turned into an adamantium statue, that was main continuity 616 Wolverine. He was gone for a period of months, and then, or maybe it was even a year, and then shock of shocks, he came back. And that was when, excuse me, that was when, after Wolverine came back, that's when they gave him the stupid ass fucking hot claws, where he could basically make his already like toughest thing in the world adamantium claws. He could actually channel his rage into them and basically make them I can't remember if they ever quantified how hot, but you basically superheat his claws. So, but that was main continuity. That was not the ultimate continuity. It was main. Did they ever make a series around Laura? Yes, they did, Slagat. For that time when Logan was quote unquote dead, Laura took on the mantle of Wolverine, and so she had her own comic book. Yes, she did. About Kitty visiting the Logan statue. Are you sure that's Ultimate Revan? Because that was 616. That was main continuity. I maybe Ultimate copied it. I don't know. But I do know that the whole thing was in the main. Yeah. In the main.
There's a
Fallen.
little bit of fuckery with that because Wolverine didn't himself necessarily heal from a drop of blood. When it's been so long, I forget the name of the villain.
Yes, I remember hearing about that, Andrea.
When he attacked when him and Wolverine were going at it.
And this is the thing I was telling you about.
I think he shoved his claw hand into Wolverine's chest or something.
Good night, Stefan.
There was this mystical or crystal of some sort that was beside them. That was the source of this. It was the source of this alien's power. And in this fight, a drop of Wolverine's blood fell on this crystal, which essentially, I'm not even going to say it supercharged his healing. It basically, the crystal using probably the DNA.
Well, not lopped off his hand, Anubis, but blew off Logan's hand at the wrist. You are correct about that. And yeah, Conga, that's what caused Logan to become a statue, is he sacrificed himself to stop the Weapon X program from restarting. Nachi, stop it.
DNA from his blood, it essentially reconstituted Wolverine. That didn't have anything to do with his healing factor. That was all the crystal. So.
Okay, GPP, good night. Thank you for coming by.
It's a bit of a misnomer. It's not the same thing because it was the crystal that reconstituted Wolverine, not Wolverine's own healing factor that reconstituted him. Now, with
yes, indeed.
Deadpool,
good job, Ember.
And they have, like in recent comics, I've been hearing that they've. Granted, I have not been reading comic books as of recently because I hate what they've done with comic books in general over the last 15 years.
I'm not doing that.
The one you're referencing is an old school one. But I do know that I have heard something about
time,
how
Timothy.
Wolverine's
Yes, he
blood
did.
Has
he
been
did
getting used,
very briefly.
Like he's been able to use it to transfuse.
Hi, Kitty. Hi. Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's got so many wonderful toggles and stuff. It's great. I'd love it.
Into other people so he can give them like a limited amount of accelerated healing when he does like a transfusion like that.
Yes,
and with Deadpool,
Anubis, yes.
In the comics, like because Deadpool has the same healing factor as Wolverine. Actually, it's probably a bit supercharged compared to Wolverine. And like with Deadpool, when he's had like body parts cut off, those body parts have.
Well, not only shoulders, but now I've got some sexy legs I can show off. I can show off my sexy legs now. Ha
Grown into Allman Deadpools. They did a whole
with an ankle bracelet, Andrea, and even sexier.
Yeah, the Logan movie was awesome.
This Red Kitty, you haven't seen it. Oh, hang on, you haven't seen it. Yeah, this is my outfit. This is my outfit. This is my new outfit. I have to be careful the way I turn my head because the skirt tends to rise up a little bit, and you might be if I tip my head back too much when you can see below my waist, you might be able to see up my skirt. Yeah. This is the new outfit.
It was, and it That was probably,
Oh, thank you, Din
I
Frankie.
would say, that was
Thank you,
easily
Kitty.
the
Thank
best
you.
X-Men movie Fox ever made. Because for one very simple reason,
Hi,
they allowed
Razor.
it
How's
to
it
be
going?
adult. They didn't try and get too comic booky with it. Because that's the thing. Back when the X-Men movies first came out, they were
Thank
still
you.
trying to
I
be
love it
comic
too.
booky with it. But with Old Man with
Oh,
with
yes.
Logan, which was based upon the
Yeah, Kitty,
which was very
hang on. I will pause myself. Kitty, you haven't seen this either. I still have cat mode. I still have cat mode. See? Although I am going to be getting the tail reworked. I'm going to make the tail look fluffy and textured like my old one. But I also have cat mode.
very loosely based upon the Old Man Logan story.
Yeah, that's a naughty. Yeah, some things don't change.
They allowed it to be adult.
Okay,
It was
Diogo,
allowed
thank you for
to be
coming
graphically
by.
violent. There was plenty of curse words thrown around in there. I mean, in no
Yes,
other
Kitty,
movie
yes.
did you get to hear Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier saying, "Fuck you, Logan." I mean, how great is that? And honestly, it opened the door for movies like Deadpool. Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and now the Deadpool Wolverine, where we're going to get to see an actual badass Wolverine in what I'm guessing is somewhat his prime. Obviously, Hugh Jackman isn't as young as he used to be.
I was
so
a bit
he's not
slower
gonna
in
be
talking during
able
this
to
time
do
of
like what he
period
used to
two.
do back in the day, but this is a Wolverine with a non nerfed healing factor, I'm guessing, with the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So it's gonna be, I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I mean, Logan was such a fantastic movie, and I'm glad.
Spoiler alert, I was thrilled with Deadpool and Wolverine. Ha ha!
I am a carnivore, and carnivores eat cats. Om nom 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 nom.
Yes! Yes, I do, Colonel. I do have a pipe and I'm not afraid to use it.
That
Aloha,
Ryan
are
Reynolds,
you?
everyone else involved said, we love the Logan movie. We're not fucking with that. That movie is sacrosanct.
Spoiler, they did kind of fuck with it, but in a good way.
We're not
And
messing
thank you,
with that
Shadows
story
of Steel.
whatsoever. Which I thought, that's one reason why I love the fact that Ryan Reynolds was doing this movie, is because he's one of the few people in Marvel that actually respects the source material that they're working with. And God help me, I wish more people in Disney and Marvel would do that. So.
And I knew I was going up against Wolverine, and I only had one chance. I'm breaking out this rifle right here. This is my Christian Firearms single shot.
Yes, it is. It's coming out in July. I forget when in July, but yes, it's coming
Frankie,
out
me
in
too.
like 2
I
months.
loved Deadpool
And I
Wolverine.
can't wait for it.
Absolutely loved it.
Falling block 4-bore rifle. This is the most powerful shoulder-fired rifle in the world. It is 1 inch in diameter. This thing is putting out 200
Just gonna fuck shit up.
recoil, producing over 10,000 foot-pounds of energy. And here is the 4-bore round, and this is a custom adamantium 2,150 grain round.
Oh, it was a fantastic movie, Kite. I fucking loved it. It was the best Marvel movie they put out, I think.
Oh, all right.
Hey, chat. This is a big boy. I like it. Give me big boy.
Time to ride the lightning.
Wait, what did I toggle? Oh yeah, this is where, where I was hitting buttons, and I was accidentally, look at all the shit that I toggled through.
Adamantium
I don't.
2,150.
Yeah, I think I was trying to find the
Eat your heart.
I was trying to find the sweat drop.
That's a big old chimichanga.
I think. Yeah, there it is. And because I was working off the numpad. So I had to memorize where all of my toggles were on the numpad. And again, I hadn't memorized it, so I was just like hitting fucking numbers on the numpad, like, okay, fuck, that's not it, that's not it. Crap, where's the fucking toggle? And I finally got it, because I didn't have the Stream Deck yet. No, I did not have a Stream Deck at all, Kaibo. I didn't even know that the Stream Deck could be used for it. So, Zeb, because I basically had I could feel it. I could feel my tears coming. And so I basically just had my hand on the Stream Deck with my thumb over the toggle. Because I could feel it coming. And while I'm still in control of my faculties, I put my thumb on the toggle. And when I felt my control, the last of it going away, I pushed the button. And that's how I was able to toggle it earlier. Is just, I knew it was coming, I prepared myself, and when it happened, all I had to do was just push, and then I could just collapse and start sobbing. That's how I was able to do it. Yeah. So, but yeah, this is why you just see me rotating through toggles. Because I was like, fuck, which one is it? Which one is it? Like now, Revan, thankfully with the Stream Deck, I can label each of the toggles, so I actually can see like, okay, this one is for, the angry. This one is for, folding my arms. I can actually see what is what on the Stream Deck now. I don't have to memorize it quite so much. Yes, good old Revan, truthfully, no. Because all of my toggles are taking up one whole set of keys. If I want to go back to my soundboard, I actually have to go backwards on the Stream Deck to another panel to get to my soundboard. So there's kind of not enough. No, there's kind of not enough buttons, honestly.
Oh, all right. Time to ride the lightning. Oh!
Jing hell! Sketty, I've got the biggest Stream Deck they make. There we go, the dizzy eyes. I have better ones now. I have better dizzy eyes now.
Oh my God.
Goes the weasel.
Blasted out the ass of the table. It completely blew its ass out.
Scorpion's head off.
Yeah. That just liquidated his skull.
And this is where, this is why I'm talking about why I wasn't a fan of the voice. Because when I said that, I was much more emotive. When I went, holy fuck, that liquidated his skull. You can hear it now. With this voice just did not emote well enough when I said that. It's kind of one reason why I moved away from it, because you couldn't actually hear just how much of a holy shit moment that was for me. I was just like, holy fuck! But it didn't come through in the voice. But it comes through in this one. So that's why I use this. That's why I have this one. Because it's much more expressive and emotive.
Oh my dear God, that's insane. And that was a metal skull, too. That wasn't human bone. That was metal.
She be kicking. And if you would also like to be kicking, you can check out my She Be Kicking shirt. There's a link.
And I just know something, chat. I can nod really fast, and the model keeps up. Remember, if I nodded this fast with my old model, the hair would start like freezing and clipping. If I nodded really fast, I can move around much faster now, and the model keeps up just fine. So I can go, and the model and the hair keeps up fine.
Description down below that will take you to KentuckyBallistics.com. Now let's check out what's left of Wolverine. So it seems to me if you absolutely had to go to battle with Wolverine, there is nothing you should pick other than a 4-bore. I mean, it did a lot of damage. There's pieces of adamantium skull everywhere. I mean, got your nose. I saw a really big piece go that way. Let's go see what we can find.
What were you looking at, 504?
Literally flew as high as those treetops. All right, I think I found it. I'm also about to find a bunch of kicks.
Oh, really? You like the jiggle physics? You like the jiggle physics?
I found his cap. So this
Look
is
at that.
the metal.
Look at the hole. Right.
Actually, I have not even. Let me see if I can. Can I? Hang on. Let's try this. I can turn the physics up a little bit. I don't know what you think. Is that too much? Yeah, it's too much. I'm swaying around way too much. Yeah, I was flying around way too much on that with those physics increased. That was way too much. But I got good jiggle physics now.
Here, I think this is the hole from the bullet.
Yeah, I think so too, J10.
Cap that was on the Wolverine torso. And as you can see here, we smacked it with the 4-bore. A 4-bore rifle with a 2,150 grain adamantium
Of course,
bullet
J10.
would
I'd expect
definitely
nothing
be
less of
suitable
you.
defense against Wolverine. You know,
Yeah?
he's pretty
Maybe in the
messed up.
future, Evan. That's
Thing
that.
is,
There is intent. Playing for the
Wolverine
future.
can regenerate. Even with a shot like that, he can probably regenerate. And when he comes back, he is going to be so angry. So I feel like I probably need to do something to pin him down or, prevent him from coming after me.
Scott, what are you doing? What? Is that
Don't
safe?
think- I was not used to Scott doing this stuff at this point.
Well, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun today. If you did enjoy it, do me a favor and give it a like. And if you're not subscribed to Kentucky Ballistics, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure and check me out on all social media platforms.
Yep. Yes, he is, Anubis. I'll go back then. I didn't know what the fuck was going on because I hadn't really seen much of Scott.
And as always, my name is Scott. Thank you so much for watching Kentucky Ballistics. I'll see you next time.
Samoosh.
He turned him into a pancake.
Yes, he did.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah. You don't have a 4-bore, but you got a crane and a safe. I think you'll be all right.
That'll work.
Wow. Claptures, chat claptures. I'm going to post a link in the video here in the feed here if you want to go check out some more on his channel. Wow.
Eh?
That was, that was pretty intense.
Yes, it was. Oh my! Why am I? Okay, why did I? For Jesus Christ, I am. Why did I just do that? I just liked my own fucking video. Just like my own goddamn video. Oh my God, you can see how much of a routine I get into. Like and subscribe.